Tinh. What did you like about Norway?
Yes, now when I am back to Vietnam and then when I heard your question again, then just a memory about Norway just coming back to me. Then for me, what I like about Norway is the first is the people. That's first I have to say that I feel myself so lucky to work with the people and with the people who are very friendly, and I feel myself has a close attachment to the people there. So what I like most is the friendly people that I am lucky to meet in Norway. And the second thing is also is the weather in Norway actually. Coming from a very warm country in the tropical country. So I think that's for me to go to Norway to experience the freezing summer and fantastic winter with the snow. It's the thing that I enjoy myself so much. And the third things about Norway that I love is that it offers me the first how can I say the first home of my own. Because in Vietnam I live with my parents, but when I come to Norway I have a place of my own, so I enjoy my paradise very much. So I think that's those are the three things that I like and I miss from now about Norway.
What about the Norwegian lifestyle?
I think that's before I come to Norway. Then when I heard people telling about the European people, English people will be a little bit they will be more in individual life and not as open and as friendly as the people in Asia. But actually my impression when I come to Norway is not as what I think that it should be, because people are very friendly. And also, what I like also most about people in Norway and their lifestyle is that they are very energetic and they are very sporty people. Everybody go take up any sports at their favorite one, and they go hiking, climbing, play different kind of sports. So they are very healthy and they are very sporty people and very energetic.
What is your favourite memory from Norway?
It will be well connected with what I answered before. Is the winter in Norway. I love the snow, and last year has been my first time to really see and touch the snow. So I enjoy the weather very much. So my favorite memory with the winter in Norway.
Did you go skiing?
Yeah, I also go skiing and go skating. So though I find myself that it's difficult for me to stop when I go skiing, but I enjoy to fall on the snow because it is soft and it is so joyful.
So no accidents, no?
No accident. But when I go skating, then it hurts my leg a little bit, but I enjoy it after all. Yeah.
What did you know about Norway before you went there?
Quite a lot, but different kind of information. Because you know that here we work in the organization in which we have a regular visits from people from Norway, and then those people they has been sharing little by little information. So I have a big collection of information. But in particular, because when I go to Trondheim, for example, then I has been shared by people about the place that I will be working and staying there. Then it's nice to get the information. But for all in all, the information I get about Norway before I come there is that that's a very cold country, and you have to prepare yourself for the winter.
Did anything surprise you about Norway?
This is the thing that's well connected with the work that I do in the club, because before I come to Norway, then I know that the football in Norway is organized in the community, and they get wonderful volunteer support from people around. But this is what I know, but I don't think that it will be as great as it appeared to be when I really be in a grassroots football environment in Norway. I take a typical example, it's about the volunteer in the club. I feel myself very surprised on the first day when I arrived at Costa Football Club, and when they introduced me their club activities, in which they have 2 people working full time for the club, and the rest they are volunteer. And the club manager say that one of the volunteer working in the club, he acting as the chairman, and this volunteer is my boss. So I am very surprised because in Vietnam, if you are the volunteer, then you will be supporting with different things, but then there will be control or support or to be organized by people working in, for example, in the project. But then in Norway, then actually the volunteer can also be your leader, be your manager, and the people working full time are the people who are supporting or getting the guidance from the volunteers. So it's different and it's a good surprise to me.
Can you tell me why are exchanges important?
I think the exchange is very important, and the meaning is also lying in the words exchange itself, because exchange means that you bring out something and you get back something. For example, like because in the exchange, then we are having Ian and me who go in for the exchange. So when I come to Norway, then I can also not only share what from my professional ability, but also for me to get back a lot of things, not only for me personally, but also for the work in the project itself. So it's also about the meaning of giving and receiving. So what are you going to offer, what are you going to receive, and what can you take back to the organization? I think that's the meaning of the exchange.
What do you think you offered your colleagues in Norway?
This is also one thing that I feel myself not really happy with, actually, because regarding to my professional background, I'm not coming from a football background, but then working in Costa Football Club, that's the club in which mainly that's the football activity. So for me to be able to contribute on the daily basis for the club activity, I have a limitation, because people in the club, they are working with organizing football activity for the children and the people there. But then for me to be able to be the one who organize the activity, that's very difficult. So what I can be able to do is just to support with the logistics or the organizing of activities, and the other limitation it comes from the language ability. So when we work with the children and we work with people in which I only use English, so it's I cannot speak. I learned a little bit of nutrition, but for me to use nutrition in a fluently way and also to understand what people are talking about, and is also one limitation. Then what I can offer back to the club, I only feel that I can share in some of the games, movement game, in which in the project that we are working with, then we organize game to learn the life skill or message to children. So just some like movement games activity in which we can organize together with the football activity. That's the thing that I think that I can share a little bit to the people there. And the limitation for me to contribute to the club, but then I am still happy of myself when with my time in Norway, when I can visit the other football club, not only to learn and to get more information about how grassroots football activities is organized in Norway, but also for me to share and promote football for all in Vietnam to friends and the club around in Norway, and also to be able to build up the connection between the club in Vietnam and the club in Norway as part of the friendship club has been something that I am very happy with, and I also would love to follow and work more with the friendship club when I get back to Vietnam now.
Can you tell me more about the idea of friendship clubs and how that works?
Actually the ideas of a friendship club has started by the support from one football regions in Norway with the name Sun Ofjorten. And by the time that they are organizing the football tournament, they organize some fundraising activity, and they can able to collect the 61,000 kroner to support one football club in our project, that's the Home Tinh Football Club, in which this will have this club to be sustainable for 10 years. And also when I come to Norway, then I bring along with me one letter from Hương An Football Club. They want to start the relationship just only to exchange information and to learn from how football club in Norway organize activity. So I bring along the letter from Hương An together with me, and then I give it to the people in Kongsberg Football Club, and very happy that that club also think that it would be nice to have a new friend in Vietnam, so they start a relationship. But then at that time we only think about the relationship only, not only the relationship and also the financial support for the club in Vietnam. But then we are thinking about another aspect, that is the sustainability of the football club in our activity. So I think that it should be nice to not only focus on the experience sharing, learning, and get to know each other more, but also to have a kind of a support from friends to friends. So with that idea, and which has been discussed with people in the office, then I start to communicate with the club in Kongsberg if they want to not only to be friend and exchange letter, but also to support financially to the club in Vietnam. So I'm very happy that they also say yes, and they want to start with 1 year support to the club to see how it works first. So we had another starting point for the project, that is the relationship between Kongsberg and Hương An. And then by the time that I stay in Norway, I also go around to visit different football clubs in Norway. And then I share about what we have been doing in Vietnam. And then I also share the idea about friendship club. And very happy that the friends in Norway, they are very friendly, and they also want to build up the connection with the football friends in Vietnam. So they also say yes. So we have 2 more relationships between China football and one of our football club here. We are thinking about one football club in Quảng Yên, and the other relationship is not with the football club, but with a school in Norway. That's a sports school in Norway. And then they also commit to the Sunday football, and so Nidaros school, they commit to provide support to our football club for 3 years with the support of 5,000 kroner per year. So I think that will be a good starting point for the friendship club mini project to go on in the long-term capacity.
That's great.
Yeah.
You've obviously come back to Vietnam with a lot of knowledge about fundraising and lots of ideas.
Yeah.
And you've obviously already built some very encouraging relationships and helped to establish ties between Vietnam and Norway.
Yeah.
Besides fundraising, is there anything else that you feel like you've learnt in Norway and you can bring back to the office here in Vietnam?
I think that the volunteer tradition, the fundraising activities which have been mentioned by you, but I think the fundraising activity is actually the most important thing that I can be able to learn and to get from Norway, because with the club in our activity, they are still dependent on our financial support. So to be able to build the capability for the club to raise fund and to be independent themselves is very important. And also because in the club they organize different football activity also for people with disability. So for me to join and support people to organize the activity or to learn from the way they organize football activity for people with disability is also something that I can get during the time that I stay in Norway. And also I join different training course, both the training for coaching and join to support the coaching for the children of 7 years old. So I get a better idea on how to organize the football activity for children. So I think that if I go for the field visits or we organize any kind of seminar, then I think that's I am happy if I can share something about the way that the people organize and the football activity or how you behave or you treat children like the people in Norway. That is something that it would be nice if I can share. Though I understand that in the project we have a lot of people from Norway with a lot more experience, but I think that I can be together with them to share more about how to organize activity for children.
How will your life in Vietnam be different because you've spent 1 year in Norway? And talking about personal and professionally.
Yeah. This is a very good question, actually. It could be for the long-term perspective to look at, because for the future to go there has been something during my 1 year in Norway has been coming to me. I have receiving the information. Maybe some of them will be will in this way or the other, not only affect but in change my way of acting or behaving in my life in the future time to come. For example, let's take the example from my personal life. I really like the way children are taken care in Norway. Like because in Vietnam we tend to take care of children in a very protective way. We don't want children to go out and play with sand or get dirt after the day or hurt themselves. But in Norway, then because in the club we also work with the children in the kindergarten, so I get the many opportunity to work with the children and see how people treat or behave or take care of the children. So I really like the way children has been taken care in Norway, in which they just let children to do whatever they want to do. And the children in the kindergarten, they are allowed to play with sand or they play under the rain. So it's not a problem for them, and they join many different activities, but mostly it's to be outdoor, not indoor. So I think that's for me in my personal life in the future, if I have my children, for example. So I will just let my child to get the opportunity to try different activity outside and not to take care of them in a very protective way. So just like let them fall down on the floor on the street and then let them get up themselves. So they can learn by the time that they are making mistake or they fall down and they know how they should get up.
Do you think this difference in raising children, do you think this difference has changed or has made football different in Norway compared to Vietnam because of the feeling that it's okay for children to fall down and it's okay for children to get dirty, as you put it?
So you mean that the way children has been taken care has an effect in the way that the football is organized?
Yeah, grassroots children's football.
Yeah, because in Vietnam, when the children they are very has been overprotected by children, and I have the feeling that the children in Vietnam, they are more obedient. So in this way or the other, when the children are obedient, then this will be very easy for the leader or the coaches to organize activity for children. But when you get the children to just to be to learn by the mistake or to do everything on their own, and the children people have to respect the children's opinion, then the children in Norway, I think that they are very strong in their opinion, and they if they want to do anything, then they do it. So then that's in my feeling when I see the football environment in Norway. Then it's more active, and it had the how can I say? Because the children they are able to voice their idea, they talk what they like, or they share what they want the activity to be. So I think that I like the correspondence between the coaches and the player. So when the children do not like anything, they say to the coaches, and the coaches they modify the activity. So the training will get in better with the sharing information from the two sides, and it's for the better environment in the training area.
Do Norwegian children enjoy playing football in the rain?
They enjoy so much, and I also make people in the office laugh sometimes, because I ask people that when I first come and I see some of the day it has been raining so heavy, so I ask them that then the football activity will be cancelled or will be postponed for today. But they say no, football is football and rain is the rain. So the football activity will still be organized under the rain. And even in the winter when the snow is falling and it's very cold, but then people still take away the snow and they still play football in a very freezing environment.
So you've learnt about football in very different, sometimes very wet and very cold weather conditions.
Yeah.
What would you say to parents in Vietnam who think that when it rains, their children should go back into the classroom or back into the warmth of their homes? What would you say to them?
No, because now I get the very good example from Norway. Then I can share to the parents in Norway that if you want your children to be strong, and if you want your children to be healthy, then I think it will be better for them to get out and try different environment, weather condition, so they can build up their immune. I mean that the way that they, I cannot find the English word for this one. That the
immune system, and then maybe their resilience.
Yeah, so they will be stronger and they get familiar with all the weather condition. So is it better for them to try out playing football in different weather conditions, when it hot, when it rain? But for example, in Vietnam, sometimes it's too hot at 12 or something. That's the time that we should avoid. But the other condition, when it is, I think that when it hot, when it rain, so it's not a problem to football activity.
How about you personally? I know that you play football with the office here.
Yeah.
Would you prefer to play in 38-degree heat, very, very hot tropical heat? Or would you prefer to play in the snow in Norway?
For me, then my impression about the snow is wonderful. So if for me to choose between to play under the hot weather or to play with the snow, then I prefer to play football when it is snowing.
And how about Norwegian children? Do you think if they came to Vietnam on an exchange, do you think they would be able to play football in very hot weather?
When I share about the weather to my friends in Norway, and about the very hot weather in Vietnam, and they say, oh, that's what we are longing for, and we dream to have it in our summer. So for sure they take every opportunity to be out under the sun.
How about children's grassroots football in general? Are there any other ways in which it's a little bit different to here in Vietnam?
If I make a comparison between the rugby football in Norway and what we have been doing here in football for in Vietnam until now, the difference is that the football club in our project, it is still based in the school, and that is the school-based football club. But the football club in Norway, they are the community football club. And for us, we get the volunteer support from the teachers in the school, but in Norway, they get the volunteer support from the people in the community and also from the parents. And parents is a great volunteer support in Norway. And I think that my dream for the project in Vietnam is that all of our football club will turn into the community football club in Norway, like in Norway. And then we can get the support from people from the community, from parents to maintain and develop the activity. And we from the office will more or less acting like the roles of people in the football region to support on the technical aspects and support on consulting or for the club development. And the club can be sustainable financially themselves. So this is my dream for the model of football for Vietnam in the future after I get back from Norway.
Did you watch any professional football matches in Norway?
Yeah, 3 times I think. 2 times in Trondheim and 1 time with the Norwegian football club. Yeah.
And what did you notice about that? What were your feelings?
Because like what I said before, people in Norway, they are very very sportive, and everyone take up any sport at their interest or like the sport for them to follow to be healthy. And when I come to the football environment in Norway, people are very supportive. They are cheering. They show their emotion a lot, so I feel it's so great to be really in the football environment. And last time when I go to the football tournament, then I go together with the children in the club. Then not only the grown-up people they enjoy football, but the little children they also enjoy it so much. So I find it great to be there in the football environment together with the people in the stadium.
How about women and girls in Norway? What is their attitude towards football, both professionally and also children's grassroots football?
Girls also play football in Norway, and they play a lot more than in Vietnam. And especially when the children are young, from 6 to like 13 or 14 years old, then when you come to the football pitch at any football club, then you can easily find a football team of girls to play. But when they are getting older, I think that they also get nearly the same problem with us in Vietnam, in which the number of girls play football will be lessened. And they also get problem to get the girls when they are getting older, about 15, to join in the football activity.
Did you learn anything that the Norwegian model tries to keep girls, teenage girls, to stay in the football activity?
Yeah. For me, myself, what I learned is really from the club that I work with. Then for them to be able to keep the girl going on with the football activity, then they also build up some project to get the girl to involve in the club activity more. For example, in Costa football, they used to have their activity with econ leaders of tomorrow, in which they get the girls in the football club, 5 girls in the football club, to form a team with econ. They can become leaders of tomorrow, and they go around to experience the culture and also to share the sample of girls playing football to many football clubs in the other country. They did visit Vietnam, So the way that they build up the capability for the girls and use them as a model to share the sample for the other club, for example, will be a good way to promote girl football, and the girls can play football. The girls can do a lot of things together with playing football. Will be a good example to get people to have more attention and to like longer the time that the girls play football in Norway.
FFAV does a lot of work and works very hard to engage marginalised groups, marginalised children in playing football. For example, disabled children. Is there a big difference between marginalised children in Norway playing football and attitudes that surround that in Vietnam? Are they similar, or in what ways are they different?
I'm not clear with this question actually. You mean the way people behave with the people of marginalized group, or the way people work and organize activity for them?
I think attitudes and behaviour.
Okay, attitude of the people. Then because in the club in the club they also have the activity for people with disability. Then I also joined the training and also joined one of the football tournament for people with disability there. And I really enjoy the way football activity has been organized for the people with disability in Norway, in which they have a special regulation for people with disability to play football. Then there will be like no, how can I say, like no limitation of the number the time that we train the player. It's also just like us, but the other thing is that they can also take the player from the other team to play for your team if you do not have enough player, or you maybe your team be weaker than the other team, so you can also borrow the player from the other team to play in your team. Or the coaching, the main objective for the coaching when they bring the team to the football tournament is to let the people have fun and also have the same opportunity by the other. So if they see that their team is like now they win the other team with 5-0 or something, then they take away some of the good players in your team, in their team. For example, if they are playing 7-a-side, then their team who is now leading, so they play with 4, for example, and the other team play with 7. So they want to keep the balance on the pitch and to make sure that the player they enjoy the most of the football environment.
Can you speak Norwegian?
Jeg snakker norsk nå. Jeg lærer norsk, og jeg snakker norsk også. Men jeg har ikke mye ord. Så jeg snakker bare litt, og jeg forstår litt norsk. Men jeg liker å snakke norsk. Så når jeg går hjem, jeg begynner fortsatt å lære norsk. Og også Anders, når han kommer til Vietnam, han begynner å lære meg også før, også gang, og lære norsk. Hvis du også liker å snakke norsk, du skal bli oss å lære.
I mostly agree with that, Tinh. I mostly agree.
You agree?
Yeah, that's very kind of you.
Yeah, you understand what I say?
Not a word. This would be much more effective if I could speak Norwegian.
But then my message is that I also want to speak Norwegian. I learn Norwegian, but I only speak a little bit because I don't have a lot of new words. But I say that when Anders come to Vietnam, then he also help to learn me, Phương and Ngọc to continue learning Norwegian. So I say that if you want to learn, you can also join us, and we say, oh, it would be nice. It's just like you understand the message that I just said.
I see. So Ian was your exchange partner.
Yeah.
So you went in opposite directions. Do you think your Norwegian is better than his Vietnamese?
I don't know. Actually, actually, because I haven't been talking with him in Vietnamese yet, but I think that for me to learn Norwegian, it will be a little bit easier than for him to learn Vietnamese, because with Norwegian and English it had a connection, and the grammar is not so different like the way grammar is organized between Vietnamese and Norwegian. So when I learn Norwegian, I make a connection with English. So for me to catch up Norwegian is easier than, I think it will be easier for Ian than to get it connected between Vietnamese and Norwegian or English. So it's difficult for him. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. So
you watch his interview and see how he did. You can make a comparison.
okay.
What will you miss most about working in Norway?
I like the people. So to be able to work with the friendly people, in which they are very willing to share and to learn me. Then whatever activities he organize, and I think that this would be nice for me to learn and to get the information from that. They give me the information and they share with me whatever information which I think that this will be very useful for me to know. And based on that, I can ask more questions to get information. So the way people are very supportive, cooperative, and also willing to offer and to share to me, that's the way that I like most about working in Norway and getting support from people.
Was there anything that you didn't like about Norway?
That's no. I just have a quick review to my time. I say that I have nothing that I dislike about Norway. What I am not happy with is just only my contribution to Costa football. But my experience, my time, what I am able to learn and to get from them. And I enjoy my time there so much, so nothing about Norway that I dislike.
I can't accept that.
You do not accept that?
No, I don't. And there must be one thing. Food or salted fish or cabbage or... there must be something.
This is not something that I dislike, because when I was in Norway, one thing I would love to share is that I feel that myself, that I understand myself more, and I feel myself a lot more, how can I say, easy to adapt to the environment. Because when country, they are different country with different culture, different background and everything. So there are a lot of differences. But for us to really be in a new environment, to experience the differences, so for sure there is something that make you at the first time that you feel is difficult to accept or something. But this does not mean that this will make me hate about Norway because of the food or something. But for me, my personal learning experience about living in a new culture is that you have to be flexible, and also you have to show your respect to the different. So the food is different, the culture is different, the way people behave is different maybe. It's also the difference between the differences belong to the culture. So I just respect the differences, and I be flexible myself to see and to value the differences, because the differences, these are the learning experience for you. Yeah. So for me, I still keep my idea of saying that there's nothing about Norway that I dislike.
What Norwegian dishes will you cook for your family now you're back home?
I can make waffle.
What's that?
I think you enjoy it already.
Waffles?
Yeah, waffle. Yeah, that's the thing that I like most, and I also buy the waffle machine to bring it along with me back home. So I will make it for people who want to enjoy, and I think that mostly Vietnamese people will like it, because I am not an easy eating people, but then I like waffle, so people and the other friends, they will like it also.
Wonderful. Did you take time to cook Vietnamese food for your friends in Norway?
Yeah, a lot of opportunity, because my time in Norway, one of my objectives when I come to Norway is not only to learn but also to share. And one thing to share is about the culture and the people and the foods in Vietnam. So I'm not good at cooking, but whenever I feel that myself I make this dish is very nice, so I also invite my friend along to my place to enjoy my dishes. And luckily that my friends say, oh, they enjoy the food there, so I'm happy to know.
I know that you spent some time in Scotland,
Yeah,
as well as England,
yeah.
and that you went to Glasgow and you saw a football game in Glasgow. Can you tell me about that, please?
Oh, that's a fantastic football match that I had the opportunity to join. That's the match between Celtic and Rangers. And before I come to the match, I has been introduced and has been shared by my friend. That's the big match, and everybody, the people, they have to fighting to get the ticket to the match. That is the match between Celtic and Rangers. And this match is not only about football, but it's also the value. Besides, also about politics, culture, and many different aspects. And that's in my first time to be really in a very big football stadium with a lot of people, crowded people, and the fans, they are very supportive and they are very energetic and they show their feeling, they cheering, and they are very, how can I say, they are very aggressive in a way, also in the way that they show their support to their team. So my feeling is so wonderful to see how people watching the match. No need to sit down, they just stand up and cheer and everything. So my first experience with the football match like that is so wonderful. Yeah.
Who do you support, Rangers or Celtic?
The message I get from my friend before I come to the match, so you have to show that you are neutral before you come to the match. For you to keep yourself be safe. Otherwise, if the Celtic friend, they know that you are Rangers supporter, or the Rangers supporter, then you know that you are Celtic supporter, then I think that you will be in trouble. But also, I don't know very much about two teams before I come to the match, so it's good to be neutral. So I support the football environment in the stadium.
Now we're both in the safety of Vietnam.
Yeah.
Do you have a favourite, or are you still neutral?
With what?
With Rangers and Celtic.
Now when I'm back to back to Vietnam and to be in the safe environment, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
I am still neutral. Yeah, because I'm really not into any football team. So when I see the match in which I do not support any team, then I will be in the middle.
If you could give one piece of advice to the colleagues and the friends that you work with in Norway, what would it be?
This is a very wonderful question. It's also more about what I can be able to offer to the club in Norway. Then because in the club in Norway, then one of the things that I like about Costa Football, in which I work with, is that they not only work with football, but they also work with the other messages. That's either integration in the football club. Then my message to them is just to keep your strong relationship with the people in the local community, because the stronger and the closer you are with the community, then this will be the easier you get their support. And because and you should choose the message in which it will be in line with the strategy of maybe the strategy of development of the community. So then it will be a lot easier for you to do the work and get the support with the people from the community.
Do you think that people understand what NFF are achieving here in Vietnam through FFAB?
This is one thing that I am very happy with about my time in Norway, because I go around to visit the other football club and share about our work in Vietnam. That's a part of the development project of NFF in Vietnam. And with the information I share, and when I receive the feedback from the people in the club, then they appreciate the work that NFF has been doing for the children in Vietnam, and they find that this is a very useful and very interesting project, and they also would love to come to visit the project one day.
I think that many of your colleagues and friends and all of the people you've met in Norway will be watching this. This is your chance to deliver a message to them. Would you like to look at the camera and address those people?
Yeah. So to all my beloved friends in Norway, now I am back to Vietnam, and I continue with the work with Football for in Vietnam already. Then I miss you all very much, my friends, and my memories in Norway. Then now I have one wish, that I wish my friend you want to come along with me to Vietnam to visit Vietnam, a very beautiful country, and also to visit the football club in our project, and to really see the model that you have been told before. Then you will enjoy it, I can say for sure, with the friendly people and a great football environment in Vietnam.